Joining us on a Patriots Friday is Patriots Special Teams Coordinator Jeremy Springer, and the coordinators on Patriots Friday are brought to you by Rate. Visit Shant, SHANT, WEEI.com to learn more. Jeremy Springer, how are we doing this week?
Man, I'm doing great. How about yourself, brother?
We're doing well. We've been watching all season long, as many football fans have been, the dynamic kick. Your thoughts 3 weeks in, I know it's early, on the dynamic kickoff and some of the returns here early on in the 2024 season?
Early on, I thought we would see a lot more. And as we went through training camp, a lot of the rules were actually changed in training camp. That we were practicing a bunch of stuff in OTAs. Training camp that changed a bunch of those rules. And I think because of the rules and what you can do with the ball, it's a lot more simpler than what people thought it would. Like simple returns, simple schemes. Where you kind of make your money at is what I'm trying to notice is how can you kick the ball and place it in different areas? How can you personnel a couple of people to move them around like chess pieces and then hit? But you also, because it's such a short distance now, you really only have one line of defense. And because of that, you don't always want to cover every rep because you can be good on 2 or 3, but then on that 4th or 5th one, like you saw in the Commanders game Monday night, you pop one for 67 yards because you're covering every single rep. And all it takes is a couple guys get out of their lane, and that thing is gone, or it's a 60, 80-yard return. So I think that's what's pulling guys away a little bit from actually trying to return more. And, again, like I said, it's a lot more simpler than I thought it would be.
Do you think this is here to stay? Because I feel like the league was hoping for a lot more kick return opportunities, but you guys certainly aren't alone in, blasting it through the end zone more often than not.
It's going to be interesting. I think I will know more in the middle of the season, but also with the way the rules are with the touchback, as games get colder and get later in the season, you're going to see a lot more returns because of it. So it's going to be really interesting to see how that plays out later in the season when games are truly now teams are fighting for the playoffs and things like that. And now that true field position is really, really taken into account. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. This is a 1-year deal, and I think so far, if I would have to choose, it might not. But I think you just got to wait till a few more weeks, and once the weather changes.
So I hear what you're saying about the downside of Eckler taking back a long kick return. I think DJ Dallas had one early on in the year as well for Arizona that he brought back for a touchdown. But why haven't you guys looked at it the other way and said, let's try to gain an advantage instead of just handing the opponent an opportunity at the 30? Why not try to exploit that more than maybe other teams have?
And I think because you want to see a little bit more around the league and kind of get feel for the game plan wise. I think when you're kind of unsure and if you have a little bit of momentum in the game, you don't want to lose that momentum. And that's kind of, I think, where we're at right now. And I know we want to cover more. We want to do a little bit more as we progress here. And it's more about just trying to figure it out and make sure we have a solid plan. If it's a plan where we don't quite feel sure about it, we need to see more film around the league. That can always help us as well. I think that's kind of the approach we've kind of taken as of right now. And then also, make sure our kicker it can do a little more with the kicks. Because, again, I think that's the most important thing. Can he move it around and switch it around? Because when you're doing that, it makes it a lot harder as a kickoff return team to actually scheme you up. If you're putting it in one place every time, that's an easy scheme up for a team over time.
I know Matthew Slater joined the staff, and I think his title is assistant to the head coach, but I'm curious, how much has he helped out with you in the special teams?
I mean, he's phenomenal. Just his insight and whatever I need from him, because he's pulled in so many directions. He's such a guy that's so well respected that, Coach Mayo's using him a lot, and everyone on the building is using him for everything, and he helps with our leadership council. So for me, I'm not like, he's not going to be in my room game planning all day and things like that. But what he does do is he's always on the field helping me out. He's always giving me insight on little things I might have forgotten to mention or a little technique that I'm teaching. Like he comes in and says, hey, man, I've done like that before. It doesn't work like that. So, all right, well, how do you think we should teach it, Slater? So, and even in game days on the sideline, he's phenomenal. So having a guy like that, as long as with the rest of my crew, I got, Tom Quinn's my assistant, Colby Tippett. I mean, I got a phenomenal crew of guys that just do a really good job of helping me keep me honest. And it's been really good.
We're talking to Patriots Special Teams Coordinator Jeremy Springer here on a Patriots Friday on Jones and Keefe, WEEI. I was reading up on you today, Jeremy. You're a very, very good high school quarterback in Texas. You played defense. Yeah, you played defense in college.
Nice.
But what? It's always interesting to me or fascinating to me growing up here in the Northeast. the high school football in Texas. What was there anything you miss about that atmosphere, just being around that atmosphere, the Friday night lights in a state like Texas versus, here?
I say this all the time because I coached college for almost 11 years, and so I recruited the state of Texas heavily. And also, like you just said, I played there. What's so profound about the state of Texas and football is the resources. They provide a lot of resources to those kids, and so the coaches are higher paid. So you get a lot more output. And what I mean by that is these kids are not only learning football in the state of Texas, they're learning about life, learning how to play as a team, work through adversity. And those are things that I learned playing high school football in Texas. And on top of that, people care. I grew up in a small town near South Padre Island, Texas, deep South Texas, and everyone still to this day in that town lives for Friday nights. Lives for Friday nights, lives for those guys. And to this day, they still hit me up. They still remember my name. Like families that watched me, 15 years ago now. It's crazy, and it was such a treat to play in the state of Texas, to coach in the state of Texas. And my heart's in the state of Texas. It always will be. But it's definitely something that I lived through, and I preach them. Try to preach to my guys as I coach them about finding through things and how much football can teach you about life.
Did you watch the Friday Night Lights TV show?
Oh hell yeah!
Yeah.
I watched it. The movie I've seen about a million times. But yeah,
I love it. I love it so much. Tim Riggins would be one of the great athletes of all time if he just kept his head on straight.
All time, dog. No doubt.
I'll tell you, if I was 42 touchdowns or something like that in Texas high school football is no joke.
Great.
I hesitate. Go.
It's the only thing I like to brag about. It's still because I was not, I wasn't a very good collegiate quarterback or anything like that. I moved to linebacker, but I always tell guys when they're trying to tell me I'm not a good athlete, I'm like, I had 42 touchdowns, I had 15 touchdowns rushing. I had a pretty good season right there in 5A. We lost to Nick Foles, Austin Westlake. Justin Tucker was the safety. He picked me off twice. We had some pretty good teams going against us there in 5A in Texas.
Yeah, I can only. I mean, look, I threw for 42 touchdowns. I would never shut up about it. I can tell you that right now. I shudder to even ask this question based on our experience earlier today, but we do a 4-pack of questions about the Patriots game every week. Did you have a favorite 49er or a player you liked to watch growing up? I know you're in Texas, so I don't know how well liked the 49ers were, especially in Dallas territory. Was there anybody you liked or respected on the other side?
Oh man, I was a diehard Dallas Cowboys fan growing up. So for even to say that, but growing up, I loved Jerry Rice, and then after him was Terrell Owens. I enjoyed watching those guys play. It was a lot of fun. Every time we played those guys early in my life, it was fun to watch.
Pretty good. Yeah, T.O. was ours as well.
Yeah, we both checked off T.O.
You said what?
We both had the same answer. Terrell Owens was a good answer there. Yeah, I can understand not liking him on the down, although he's eventually a Cowboy. So I can understand respecting that.
But I'll never forget him standing on the star, and then I think it was Rod and it goes after the star, which is great. I loved it.
That was great.
All right, well, best of luck on Sunday. I know you guys are taking off soon to head out to the West Coast, Patriots and Niners. He's special teams coordinator Jeremy Springer. Thanks so much.
Thanks, guys. Have a great day. Okay.
Thanks, Jeremy.
We will. We will indeed.